Hello everyone, Merry Christmas and welcome back to another episode. Now, as it's approaching Christmas, I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about one of my favourite Christmas films of all time. It isn't anything to do with horror, it's not even horror related. No messed up plot details, nothing like that. It's Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. And you thought it was this film, didn't you? Eh? No, you're wrong. All wrong. Tricked you. Bamboozled you. I'm a fucking idiot. But first, let's get into the Christmas spirit. There we go. Much better. Things really getting on my pissing nerves now. I've been more like 2 seconds. It's really dumbheading. Released in 1946, It's a Wonderful Life is a drama about George Bailey, who is left to carry on his father's building and loans company after he suddenly passes away. A rival in housing development, Mr. Potter, who was an extremely wealthy businessman that owns the banks, shops and grocery stores in the fictional town of Bedford Falls. And he's after one more thing to his collection. He wants to buy Bailey's building and loans company so that he can have full control of the town, and George is having none of it, telling him to politely fuck off, as anyone with a brain would rightfully do. Bailey can keep his business afloat and give his customers better housing options compared to Potter, even if it means George and his wife having to give up their honeymoon spending money, as rightfully so Potter closed the bank for 2 weeks, this being a way to get people to side with him and his business and then basically make George go bankrupt. It's fucked up, he's a nasty piece of shit, this man. However, on Christmas Eve, all unfortunately goes wrong, as George's Uncle Billy, who is his rightful business partner, loses some money that needs to be paid into the bank, otherwise they won't be able to carry on the business. Potter, realising that Billy has misplaced the money, keeps it instead of doing the right thing, which would be to give it back. With tensions rising, the possibility of bankruptcy and prison on the horizon, George does the only thing he wished he never did, beg to Potter for money. Potter then calls the police, where George runs away. He comes to a huge bridge with the thought of suicide. With prayer from his family and friends, a guardian angel beams down to earth called Clarence. Clarence offers to help George so he can obtain his wings and become an angel. George wishes he was never born, and then Clarence rightfully makes that wish come true, showing him what it would be like if he didn't exist, where he is introduced to a miserable future where everyone is down on their luck and lives a bleak existence. And that's the best way I can describe this movie. It's a roller coaster over time and takes you through so many different emotions that it's almost overwhelming at some points. The story is told in a series of flashbacks from George's life from when he was a kid to an adult, and this doesn't also showcase you the important characters, but the impact he has to these people's lives. It's subtly snuck in there without his knowledge at all. It's quite funny. And to be honest, I feel like this was the best narrative choice for the film, because it really shows the type of person that George Bailey is and helps get the audience, us, invested in the story and also the characters. The running time is 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and really, when you sit down and watch this film, the time flies by as the story and the characters are that well presented. It's really difficult not to like it, and it does it very, very well. It's a Wonderful Life has a really stellar cast, from Jimmy Stewart playing George Bailey, the beautiful Donna Reed playing his wife, as well as Henry Travers playing the really lovable Clarence. Of course, this film was made at a different time and a lot of the language is outdated by a huge degree, but this to me doesn't affect the experience of watching the film at all, nor the performances of any of the cast. Everyone here is spot on. The dialogue, although outdated, it does also feel natural. The cinematography in this film is spot on. Joseph F. Bierock did a fantastic job with the framing and movement of the scenes. They are lit brilliantly and the choices of angles are actually well thought out. As of course with a lot of productions from this era, watching them now feels very, like I said before, dated due to the technical limitations of the time, and in the case of It's a Wonderful Life, I don't really feel that it falls under the same category at all, really. I particularly love the close-ups in the film, mainly with George having this huge look of worry on his face. I do love that. And also, this was released during the real rising of, you know, contemporary cinema, so they were really practicing and experimenting with a lot of techniques. Of course, it has quite a few, or should I say a lot of continuity issues and lots of static shots for conversations with characters. It does linger a little bit too long for my liking, but this I will let slide as the performances are just that good. When It's a Wonderful Life released in 1946, it unfortunately bombed at the box office. I've just noticed that's quite a big theme in most of the videos I talk about here. They've either been underground cult classics or they bombed. But with the luck of TV reruns many decades later, during Christmas time, It's a Wonderful Life has quickly become one of the highest regarded Christmas films of all time. Not bad for a film that wasn't even intended to be a Christmas film. That's right, it wasn't intended to be about Christmas. But I guess as people have viewed it many more times, and you know it's been shown near Christmas, it's pretty difficult not to associate it with that time of the year. So I get it. And that's not all, folks. In 1947, this film would gain Capra his Golden Globe Award for Best Director. But would you believe that it's 75 years old? It's crazy to me that something this old can have so much significance and weight still to this day. It's still shown in theatres for a limited time during this time of the year. Having seen it on the big screen myself, it's a completely different beast. It's absolutely magical. Last year, during one of the horrendous lockdowns we had during Christmas, I decided to re-buy the film again on Blu-ray, and it even comes with a colour version. Now, of course, with a lot of black and white films that are colorized, they tend to not look as good as they do in black and white. This is apparent with films like King Kong. It just looks too unnatural and pastel-y, it's too bright. But with this one, they did an amazing job, and it looks really nice. So anyway, if you haven't seen the film yet, I would recommend you watch this highly. It's a beautifully shot film. It's funny, sad, emotional, happy, and it really is a good feel-good film for the holidays, and I really cannot recommend it highly enough, like I probably just said. So go and watch it if you haven't. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do leave a like, comment and subscribe. I would really love to hear your thoughts on this film if you haven't seen it yet, and just leave a comment or two in the comments. That'd be great. But yeah, have a very safe and merry and fun Christmas, and I shall see you again in the new year. Take it steady. Cheers.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.